Friends, we need to discuss something before we get to the content, and please don't skip ahead because it's very important. I'm sure you guys have heard about what happened to Jacqueline Towns, KarlAnthony Towns' mother. And 2-3 weeks ago, KarlAnthony Towns came to us on Instagram and said, listen, my mother has a very strict case of COVID. Please have her in her prayers. This is the situation I'm dealing with. I may lose her. And it was the first time I took COVID very seriously. I remember prior to that moment, I just thought, okay, COVID is just another version of the swine flu. COVID's another SARS. COVID's another H1N1. We're going to get through this. No problem. But when KarlAnthony Towns came and told us about what's going on with his mom, it's the first time I said, wow, I don't want this to happen to my mom. I don't want my mom to catch it. I'm going to continue to socially distance myself. No matter what it takes, I'm going to follow proper social distancing guidelines, even though if it may mean that my channel may come under harm, even though it may mean that I may lose a significant portion of my gains. Now, guys, we all know what happened to Kat's mom. I didn't want to make a video on it because I just felt like that's insensitive, but KarlAnthony Towns' mother passed away earlier today. The only thing that came to my mind is how could I use my platform? I know it's a small platform compared to other big social media influencers, but I know it's bigger than the average human being. How could I use my platform to affect change? Well, I am planning on doing a 24-hour live stream on Twitch. Now, we don't know what day it's going to be. I'm thinking of making it on April 20th because 420 was supposed to be a very, very happy day, but we all know what we're currently going through. So I'm thinking on 420, I do a 24-hour live stream on Twitch. I feature some of your favorite YouTubers in that live stream as well. So if you have any YouTubers that you'd like to see that make NBA content, NBA 2K content, let me know in the comment section down below. A link to my Twitch is also in the description down below. And if you want to tweet at me or suggest any ideas at all in the comment section or on my Instagram or on my Twitter or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. I'm open to ideas. We have a Discord chat as well. Now that that's out of the way, but this video is also sponsored. Guys, I want to take a moment to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Cove Audio, and the product we are promoting is the Commuter 2.0. And guys, you need to understand, I'm very into music festivals, so sound quality is very important to me. And the one thing that separates this speaker from my old portable speaker, which is in the garbage right now, by the way, is the fact that I could do this. Dude, do you know what this means? It means that you could place one end of these speakers on one side of your room, the other end of this speaker on another side of the room, which creates really cool surround sound for your music. It has like 7 hours of battery life, which is pretty good for a portable speaker, but my favorite part of these speakers is the fact that they are water resistant, meaning you could separate these speakers, place them around your shower, which is something I love doing, by the way. Go into your shower and literally have mini music festivals without worrying about damaging the speaker. Furthermore, Cove is probably the most generous brand I've worked to since starting on YouTube, guys, because they're giving you a 65% discount when you use my promo code, which is TheFlightMike, or you could just go to the description down below and click the link. 65% off of these. Carry the one. Do the advanced calculus in my brain brings these speakers from $200 to $70. This is definitely worth the purchase. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description down below, and let's get to today's video. So what's going on, guys? Your boy TheFlightMike back in with some very interesting NBA content. I wouldn't even call this news because I feel like this is more intriguing, to say the least. This is a fairly intriguing bit of news to start out our day with, and this should be able to help us focus on basketball once more. And pretty much what's happening is, I'm sure we all are aware of the enigma that is Kendrick Nunn. And if you guys don't know, Kendrick Nunn is the undrafted rookie that is completely dominating for the Miami Heat. He should not have been this good, but he is absolutely amazing. And the Miami Heat currently are a 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. But here's the thing. There's also this individual, I'm sure you may have heard of him. He's the number 2 pick in the 2019 NBA draft. He has definitely blown us away with what he's done so far this year, and his name is Ja Morant. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people assume that the Rookie of the Year award is Ja Morant's to lose. He is absolutely dominating. Take a look at his stats. He's averaging 17.6 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, 6.9 assists per game, is shooting 49.1% from the field, and the Grizzlies, at the time of this video, which shouldn't change anytime soon, are 32 wins and 33 losses, and they're 8th in a very, very, very competitive West. Meanwhile, you have Mr. Kendrick Nunn, who, without a doubt, is an absolute beast in his own right. But here's the thing. Kendrick Nunn came out and said he deserves to win Rookie of the Year over Ja Morant. And if you want to, we could even quote this before we jump into Kendrick Nunn's stats, before we analyze this. And this is what Kendrick Nunn says. He says, I think people will say that he is Rookie of the Year, but I don't believe it. The most value should be in the wins. We're a playoff team, so go ahead and give that Rookie of the Year award to Kendrick Nunn. Now, here's the interesting thing. Kendrick Nunn, without a doubt, is on the better team, but without a doubt, Kendrick Nunn is also I don't want to say is less vital to the fabric of the Miami Heat or less important to the Miami Heat than Ja Morant is, but if you look at it at face value, if you take Kendrick Nunn off of the Miami Heat, I feel like they'll be okay. They'll still be a playoff team. If you take Ja Morant off the Memphis Grizzlies, they go from a playoff team to another team that is once again fighting for lottery balls. So I don't know if the Rookie of the Year award is also weighed in as a most valuable player award, where if you take a player off of a team, how well would they do? But if we're articulating who deserves Rookie of the Year in that sense, then that's one way we could do it. But here's another thing. If this was the 2017 NBA draft, yes, Kendrick Nunn should get an award. If this was the 2017 NBA draft class where, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the draft where we had Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, and Jason Tatum, and, De'Aaron Fox, Josh Jackson go in the top 5, not in that order, obviously, Malcolm Brogdon ended up winning the Rookie of the Year award that year. A early second-round pick. Or I don't remember, maybe a late first-round pick. I'm saying this off the top of my head. I remember he was a late-round pick. So here's the issue. There's two issues. One, the NBA probably doesn't want there to be a lot of publicity surrounding Kendrick Nunn's name because he has this one issue with domestic violence that has come up in the past. And if you give a guy like that the award whenever it's a very close race between 3 guys, in my opinion, we're not even talking about Zion Williamson here, but if you are completely neglecting the fact that Zion isn't, we're even talking about him, then you have a race between Ja Morant and Kendrick Nunn. And which shouldn't be the case. I feel like Kendrick Nunn's third place, if anything, here. But here's the thing. Kendrick Nunn off of the Miami Heat, no big deal. You have Jimmy Butler, you have Tyler Herro, you have Bam Adebayo, you have Goran Dragic, who isn't really how good he used to be, but he's still Goran Dragic. But you take Ja Morant off of his team, they're not going to be a playoff team. Furthermore, Kendrick Nunn this year is only averaging 15.6 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists per game, and is shooting 45% from the field. Yeah, the Miami Heat are 4th in the East, but it's not like they run their offense through Kendrick Nunn. But at the same time, the Miami Heat run a very interesting approach to basketball where I actually love it. I've praised it multiple times, where they're pretty much doing a strength in numbers type of situation where they just try to play through their role players. And obviously Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are the all-stars of that team. But going into the season, the only player that I really thought was going to dominate on the Miami Heat was Jimmy Butler. But fortunately for all the role players on the squad, Eric Spoelstra has created a beautiful system that involves Jimmy Butler running at the point forward position that literally makes all of the other Miami Heat role players in great positions to succeed, including Kendrick Nunn. So if you ask me, do I think a player like Kendrick Nunn should win Rookie of the Year? I feel like it's too competitive. I feel like it's either Ja Morant or Zion Williamson, but we should not neglect to mention how awesome Kendrick Nunn is. Kendrick Nunn's an absolute baller. Without a doubt, he's a beast. So I do think that Ja Morant definitely deserves Rookie of the Year over him, but I don't want to disrespect Kendrick Nunn's game. He's phenomenal. He's absolutely amazing, just not good enough to win Rookie of the Year. But I think he might be good enough to potentially become an all-star at least one time in his career. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So it's my understanding that a good portion of my following are die-hard Miami Heat fans. So for those of you guys that are die-hard Miami Heat fans and consider yourself to be a little bit impartial to who deserves Rookie of the Year and isn't going to be biased, do you truly believe Kendrick Nunn's making a point? Do you think Kendrick Nunn should win Rookie of the Year over the likes of Ja Morant and Zion Williamson? Or do you think Ja Morant deserves Rookie of the Year? Or maybe you think neither of them deserves Rookie of the Year. There's a very compelling case to be made for Zion Williamson to win Rookie of the Year, and because of how much he matters to his team, because the value Zion has to the Pelicans is, without a doubt, you can't really measure that kind of influence, but John Morant has the same amount of influence on the Memphis Grizzlies. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'll catch you guys on our next upload.